Hi guys, hello and welcome to Helping Hand MBBS. So this is another video in the series of rapid revision videos that I've been trying to make on the channel. So the previous two videos were on DNA viruses and RNA viruses, both of which the links of both of which I will put up in the description of this video. You can find them in the description below. And in this video I've tried to put up all the facts and the some important images that are there in virology for you. So this might be the last video on virology. I can make another video on virology if you want, in which I will only write the important points of all the important viruses. For example, the important points of herpes virus, important points of influenza virus, important points of hepatitis, all of that. Okay, I will just put up 5 6 important the one liners of those viruses. But in this, till then, this might be the last video. If you want that video, please comment below on this video. So let's start without any further delay. Okay, so this slide already I've discussed in the previous two videos, but still I've tried to put it again here because this is one thing that we can never forget, that which are the non-enveloped viruses, which are the enveloped viruses, for which I've put up this slide. So for DNA viruses, as I had already told in my video on DNA viruses, that we have a mnemonic, that is PAPAD, in which PA stands for Parvoviridae, another PA stands for Papovaviridae, and AD stands for Adenoviridae. So these three only in DNA viruses you have to remember, that members of these three families are non-enveloped. All the others like the Hepednaviridae, like the herpes viridae, the pox viridae, all these other families, they are enveloped viruses. Moving on to the RNA viridae. In RNA viridae, as see the it looks like 5 names, but it's actually just 3 names. You have to remember Picornaviridae, Reoviridae, and Caliciviridae. Picorna, as we know, member of Picorna is hepatitis A. Hepatitis A, and Calici member is hepatitis E. So these 3 names, if you remember, Picornaviridae, Reoviridae, Caliciviridae, and hepatitis and Caliciviridae, you will remember all the 5 names, because hepatitis A is a member of Picornaviridae and hepatitis E is a member of Caliciviridae. Okay, and Reoviridae, we all know, in Rio we have the rotavirus, the very important rotavirus. Moving on to the next slide. So in this slide right now you're just seeing a table with names, but there's a surprise element. First, let me tell you the important viruses and their important shapes that we have to remember, we cannot forget. So rabies shape is bullet shaped, Ebola shape is filamentous, pox shape is brick shaped, adenovirus is a space shape, rotavirus is wheel shaped, coronavirus is solar shape, and asterovirus is star shape. Now let's see the images of all these viruses. So rabies, first of all, it is bullet shaped. As you can see on your screen, this you can see that it looks like a bullet. Bullet somewhat looks like this, right? Bullet somewhat looks like this. I'm sorry for my terrible drawing, but bullet somewhat looks like this. And in this diagram you can see that these all, they look like, characteristically look like a bullet. Okay, next is Ebola. Ebola is filamentous shape. This is a very classical picture of Ebola virus. You can see that it has a filamentous shape, it looks like a filament. Then we have the pox virus, which is brick shaped. This you can see, this is looking like a brick. Then adenovirus looks like a spaceship. Here is a schematic diagram of adenovirus, and these all you can see, they are the adenovirus, they look like a spaceship. Okay, then rotavirus looks like wheels. You can see they are all looking like wheels. Looks like a wheel, looks like a wheel. All of them, they're looking like wheels. Coronavirus looks like, I will just clear all the drawings. Okay, so coronavirus, you can see it looks like a star. Looks like a solar, like solar means sun, so it looks like the sun. Okay, and then last we have the asterovirus, which looks like stars. We all know how stars look. Okay, so this was all. If you want to revise again, I will just repeat these images again. Okay, so rabies is bullet shape, Ebola is filamentous, pox virus is brick shaped, adenovirus is space shaped, rotavirus is wheel shaped, coronavirus is solar, and asterovirus is star shaped. you can just revise these images again, because these images are even asked in exam with the, probably in a case study maybe the image will be attached as well, so that will become very easy for you to identify. Okay, inclusion bodies is another very important topic. So inclusion bodies are mainly the products of replication of viruses inside the cells that can be seen on microscopy. So we need to remember the names of some important inclusion bodies. They can be intracytoplasmic, they can be intranuclear, and some are present at both sides. So first is Negri bodies. See, if you don't remember all of them, you have to at least remember two out of these. One is the Negri bodies, and the next is molluscum bodies, that is a Henderson-Peterson body. The Henderson-Peterson body is seen in molluscum contagiosum virus, and Negri bodies are associated with rabies. You cannot forget these two names. You might forget the other ones, but you have to remember these two in intracytoplasmic. I've put up pictures as well. So this is a characteristic Negri body. Let me show you. Okay, so you can see these are present in the cytoplasm of the cell. These are the Negri bodies in rabies. Okay, then okay, so this is the Guarineri body. I've also put a picture of Guarineri body. As you can see, it is present in the vaccinia, that is the smallpox. And wait, I will just clear the drawing. Okay, so you can see these arrows have already been marked on the inclusion bodies. They are also intracytoplasmic, the pink colored inclusion bodies. Then very important, molluscum bodies. You cannot forget molluscum bodies. They are very large, as you can see. They are very large, pink in color, and they're very characteristic. If you're given a case and you're given an image alongside, it will be very easy for you to identify molluscum bodies. If you have seen my video on DNA viruses, you would have seen that the characteristic rash that we see in molluscum contagiosum infection. Okay, then the intranuclear inclusion bodies. In intranuclear, you have to remember these two names, that is Cowdery type A and Cowdery type B. What is Cowdery type A? Cowdery type A are granular inclusions. Okay, they look very like when inside the this is the nucleus, so they will look very granular. Whereas in Cowdery type B, they look hyaline or amorphous. It will be like completely pink in color, that kind of an appearance, hyaline. So Cowdery type A, you have to remember two viruses. Yellow fever has Taurus body. It is seen in the liver, because we know that yellow fever, we characteristically see the necrosis in liver, and we will see some apoptotic bodies, which are the apoptotic bodies are known as the Taurus body in yellow fever. Then we have in herpes simplex virus, it is Lipschultz body. You might just not remember it, but you have to remember this one. This is important, that yellow fever has Taurus body. And Cowdery type B is not generally asked, but you can remember that it is seen in poliovirus and adenovirus. And very important, both intracytoplasmic and intranuclear inclusion bodies are seen in cytomegalovirus. You can see this very nice diagram. In this, the arrows have already been marked, that the inclusion bodies are present, the pink colored inclusion bodies of cytomegalovirus, the characteristic owl eye appearance. We cannot forget that it is known as the owl eye appearance. Okay, so this picture that I've put up is about that, the egg culture, how the viruses are cultured inside the eggs of chick embryo or duck embryo or all of that. For this, you first need to know all the parts of a particular egg. So in egg, there's an amniotic cavity, the small pink colored cavity, as you can see. And then there is a very large allantoic cavity, the blue colored. Then there is the yolk sac, this yellow colored. And then there is the chorioallantoic membrane. You can see this has been put up. Okay, the chorioallantoic membrane. I will clear the pen markings again. So according to the requirement, or according to the replication of virus, the different sites are chosen. So first of all, I would like to tell you the most important one, which is the allantoic inoculation. See, allantoic cavity, as you can see, is very large. The blue colored cavity that you can see, it is very large. So it is mainly used for yielding vaccines, because we have to yield a large amount of vaccines. So it is mainly used to culture viruses for which we need vaccines. So we culture influenza in it. We can culture mumps, and rabies was also cultured for the Flurry strain vaccine, but it is not nowadays. So you can still remember that rabies and influenza and mumps, they are all cultured in the allantoic cavity. Then the yolk sac, you can remember arboviruses and herpes simplex virus. In the amniotic membrane, you can see the amniotic cavity, sorry, this pink colored cavity, you can see influenza is the most important to remember. And in chorioallantoic membrane, you need to remember herpes simplex virus and pox virus. So let's revise once again. So let's go in a sequence from outside to inside. To the most outer side, we have the chorioallantoic membrane, in which we can grow two viruses, herpes simplex virus and pox virus. Then amniotic cavity, we can grow influenza virus and mumps virus. You should remember influenza. And then the yolk sac, we need to remember arboviruses and herpes simplex virus. In the allantoic cavity, sorry, remember that for the viruses against which we are developing vaccine, we grow those types of viruses like influenza, mumps, and rabies. Okay, moving on. So this is the last slide of the day. In this, I've summarized the cytopathic effects of the important viruses that you should know. See, whenever we culture a virus on a tissue culture, like when we use cell lines or the primary, secondary cell lines and the continuous cell lines, then we try to identify some viruses by the kind of effect that they show on that cell sheet after growing. So we have these four important effects that we should remember, we cannot forget. So I have just tried to put them up over here. So first is rapid crenation and degeneration of sheet. It is seen in enterovirus. The whole sheet will be sort of degenerated and it will be sort of shrunken because of the growth of enterovirus in it. Then syncytium or multinucleated giant cell. This one is very important, you cannot forget that it is seen in measles. And I have also put up a picture of this. See, so I have put up a picture. This one that you can see is a giant cell seen in measles. Wharton-Finkeldy giant cell. Okay, then we have rounding and ballooning of cell line, which is seen in HSV. Then we have rounding and aggregation, which is seen in adenovirus. Okay, let's repeat once more. Let's you can close your eyes and then listen, then you can repeat it yourself. So there's rapid crenation and degeneration of sheet seen in enterovirus, syncytium and multinucleated giant cell formation seen in measles. Then we have rounding and ballooning of cell line, which is seen in herpes simplex virus. Then we have rounding and aggregation seen in adenovirus. Please learn this table by heart, and I hope that it somehow helps you. And this was a summary that I tried to put up for the different viruses. If you want a video on specific points of the different viruses, please comment down and I will make it. Till then, this might be the last video in virology. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing the channel and check out on our various videos. Thank you so much.